Yay! Hello.
Hey everyone.
Here.
Hello. Kim, we're super excited. We have this is not our normally scheduled
It's
presentation.
not our normal scheduled time, no.
We are here with the beautiful Tawana from the team Peterson-Jackson.
Woo!
Yay! So, yeah.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yay.
And
So,
just in case you don't know, I am Kim.
and I'm Shabi.
And we're with Team Diva at Coal Banker Bain in Seattle.
Exactly. And go ahead, Tawana, introduce yourself.
Yeah,
Tell us all about
tell
your
us about
magic.
yourself.
I am Tawana Peterson-Jackson, one half of Team Peterson-Jackson. My lovely wife, LaShawn Peterson-Jackson, is not able to join me today because we have a sick grandchild. So she's in charge of taking care of our grandchild today. And I will be joining you. But I'm going to try to represent her fabulousness to the fullest.
I love it.
Awesome.
Well, I've been calling you all the Divas of Detroit because I so believe it.
Oh my God, you so are. And we're just super excited to chat with you today because it's rare that we find another power lesbian couple doing real estate together. And I've been doing this for 20 years, and I think I can count 2 other folks that I've met.
They're rarely married and in business.
Right. So we'd love to have you talk a little bit about how you and LaShawn met each other and got started in this crazy world we call real estate.
Absolutely. LaShawn and I actually met through a Facebook group event. Someone threw me in a Facebook group because I was like, I'm single, kind of. And they put me, I had no clue that there were even Facebook groups at the time.
Yeah.
And they put me in this group. It was it's a Black lesbian group out of Detroit. I'm going to throw you in. I was like, well, why can't we just go to the bar? That's how we used to do it. We go to the bar. They was like, no, you'll love it. We're going to get in there. You're going to meet a bunch of people. I'm like, whatever. I don't really, it was, to me, Facebook was just something that you read. You didn't really talk, meet people off of there. So LaShawn was the owner of the Facebook group, and she was in there and doing all this chatting and everything. And I got in the group and I'm looking around and I was like, well, who is that? And they were like, oh, that's LaShawn. She's the moderator. Anyway, what about this person? What about this one? I'm like, but who is that? That one. I like that one.
Yeah.
So there was an event and I really didn't want to go because at the time I was working in Lansing, living in Wall Lake, which are super far from each other. It's like a 70-mile round trip. No, 70 miles apart almost.
Jeez, wow.
And the event was in Detroit, which is an additional 30 or so miles away. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go. I went and I seen her. And after that day, I was like, yeah, we're going to get married. And she was like, oh, you're cute. I was like, all right. And here we are.
When you see something, you're like, I'm going for this, right?
I'm going for it. She's the one. As far as real estate, so shortly after we met, I had to have back surgery. And it kind of ended my career with the state of Michigan.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't sit. I was on a cane and a walker, and I was just super, super like, what can I do? I don't have anything to do. And LaShawn was in real estate back in, I guess, like the early 2000s, maybe, prior to her doing an IT career. And she said, well, you like to talk to people. I was like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. I think you should be a real estate agent. I was like, I really don't want to do that. It seems kind of whack, And she's like, no, you can try it. I was like, all right, as long as I can lay down and do it, I guess I can, And I end up taking a class, and how you just find your thing? It became my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then after about about a year, I was like, so yeah, that was cool. I did that. I think I should do something else. And she's like, no. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I have a lot of things I like to do. I was like, I probably should go and, I don't know, teach golf or something. She was like, what? I was like, what? I mean, if I can do this real estate, I'm pretty sure I'll be an awesome golf instructor. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and come over to real estate just to keep you focused.
Oh my God.
How it started out.
I love it.
And then I was like, all right, whatever. And she became She superseded me in real estate.
Oh.
And I was like, well, you're better at this. I'm going to go check this golf out. Get back over here. Get back over.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's
so
amazing.
She keeps me on track.
Oh, that's great. So you like balance each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always have. And I figured that's why I was drawn to her.
Yeah.
Is because I needed that balance in my life. And she's that perfect balance for me.
Oh, that's so tender. It's so funny.
Oh God, you say that. My friend said Tinder is not a good thing.
Shelby says that to everybody. I mean, you know, Roy met his wife Katie through Tinder. But you know, like speaking of Facebook groups, like I basically met you like through a Facebook group. Like it was a gay realtor Facebook group, and at the time, and you probably don't even remember this, but at the time you said, like, oh, we were just like named the top real estate for like we just got an award for social media for real estate in Detroit, and I'm like, who are these women?
Yeah, why
are they not in this like circuit of like real estate Illuminati, which is basically how I reference like these like real estate groups. So I've just been following you all for a while.
Had no clue. The reason that we kind of did it is actually coming out to your guys' area. Shortly after, I don't know if we were married or we were maybe getting married the next year or so. And we took a trip to Portland to visit our friends who had moved from Detroit to Portland, and drove up the coast and went to Seattle. And when we got there, like, what are all these people doing living in tents?
Yeah.
And they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, these tents, you got tents, you know, people getting dressed with suits, and where are they going? He was like, probably to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, our little tour guide or whatever. I was like, I don't get it. And so I do have a master's in public administration. So I'm like, oh, I got to check out what the hell happened in Portland and Seattle. What's going on out here that you have cities of people in a tent, you know? Yeah. And that's when I started looking at how quick the gentrification had turned that city and that area around.
Oh, it's intense. Yeah. It's tough.
I was like, we cannot let that happen. I mean, they're following the plan in Detroit. I see it. Yeah. I'm watching it. And I was like, LaShawn, we can't let our people be intense. We just can't do it. We got to go back and we got to do something about this.
Wow. Well, I know we talked about this last week, but one of the things, I'm from Philly, so I know I'm from a city where you have a huge population of African American folks and the smallest amount, like the lowest amount of home ownership. And even though the prices aren't like they are in Seattle, which is part of the problem, is the prices here are so ridiculous that your average teacher can't even afford to buy a house in the city. In Detroit, you also have a gap, right? A homeownership gap within the Black community.
Absolutely.
And I know that's like a huge thing for you guys that you're focusing on as part of your real estate.
Absolutely. LaShawn, and this is one thing that's unique about her and her siblings. They all own property. They all own their own home. We can't say that for every family in the Metro Detroit, every African American family in the Metro Detroit area. We have generations that have never owned and have always rented, and it's been okay. So we wanted to get that home ownership out there. I don't have the exact statistics, and I don't I wish she was here, but she knows. But there was like a gap where it was like a 60%. Of African Americans that don't own. That's high.
Crazy.
That's a crazy percentage. The wealth gap between African Americans and white America is so huge. And people look at it like, oh, it's only $100,000. $100,000 is a lot of money, okay? Of wealth. And you put that over generations and generations. What's that's going to look like by the time my 5-year-old granddaughter get to 20 if we don't do anything about it.
Right.
So it's something that's a passion of ours. It's something that we strive for every day, is to build wealth and build that generational wealth. Also doing that through home ownership. We feel that that's like the first brick in building your wealth house. So
I love it. One of the things when you talk about generational wealth that I just like so admire about y'all is you have like what is called a collaboration. And I think we've talked about the fact that like you have a team and we have a team, and everyone who has a team tells both of us that we don't manage.
We're not doing it right.
We're not doing it right. I was like, well, I am like, and I think like the way your collaboration works, because like it is really important. I think that more people do what you're doing, right? Which is like, how do you bring other people up with you so they can also have this opportunity to work in real estate and be rock stars in this business, not just be like tokenized, but how do you do it? So do you want to just give us the skinny about like your collaboration of powerhouse folks that I'm just been like admiring them all. I love them all.
They all are so awesome. It kind of and I guess because we weren't in the Illuminati and you were like, how did we not hear about these girls? Because we didn't set out to break records. We didn't set out to do real estate this way or do it that way. We just wanted to make sure that our folks were buying houses. We just really want y'all to buy houses. And when we start looking at other agents, I was like, so what do you want to do? I'm just trying to make sure my family has houses. I said, me too. Let's work together. And we don't have to work together and I get 10% of what you're making or 30 or 40 or come to a team and structure it that way. We want to come and collaborate together and still stand on our own and have our own businesses. And I always tell them that I do not want to look up and say, I'm here, or I'm doing this because I'm on the team Peterson-Jackson. No, I work with team Peterson-Jackson, and that is why I'm here. So we all come together. We do events together. One thing that we did is that we all moved over to the EXP brokerage, and in that brokerage, we were able to create what they call an independently formed team, where everyone's independent, but you're all on a team.
Right.
I'm not tied to your success. You're not tied to mine. We're just doing this because we want to grow with this common goal. And we're stronger together. And coming into real estate, our thing was, so it would be great if we could work for a Black brokerage. Many Black brokerages, and I had Black people telling me, oh, no, never. We can't get along. What? We have the best family reunions ever. What do you mean we can't get along? Like, what do you mean? So right now, as it stands, there are 47 as of today. We had someone join us today. 47 of us in the collaboration. Whoa. Everyone is a rock star. We started this October of 2019. We haven't even scratched the surface of what we could do in the Metro Detroit area.
I know, that's crazy. You're practically an office. You are an office on your own.
You could be a brokerage with 47 people.
Exactly. We are. And we had people tell us, like, could you imagine of how much money you would have if all 47, you put them on your team and you were getting 10% or 25%? And I have top producers telling me, and my thing is this, so what, if I'm that rich, what will they be?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We all have to be rich together or it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And it's such a, and I don't know why this is such a hard concept in real estate, but I think there's this mentality that you're only successful if you suck up all the energy and love from your other team, right? Yeah. But you all are like a perfect example of we can all do more together. Let's just do it together. And your team is and also the thing I think is so beautiful about your team is that they're I think you were telling me it's majority Black women, right? Who are, for many of them, are able to actually not only create wealth for themselves, but create wealth for their family and their families and kind of live this dream that I think a lot of people assume that you can have in real estate.
Yeah. Absolutely. Most of them, they are, we have some that are dual career who are now talking about stopping their career. Now, remember, we started in 2019 in October and we had a whole pandemic in 2020.
Yeah, right.
And I'm telling you, they're making the decisions I'm getting ready to get up out of this corporate America thing. Because one thing that I promised them, I said, if you come with us, if you listen to us, if you do what we say, if you go to the classes, if you work with our coach, our collaboration has a coach. If you work with her, and she's a rock star too, also a Black woman.
Awesome.
So if you do the things all I need is 1 year. Give me 1 year. And after that year, let me know if you're not better in real estate. It doesn't take a year. Most of our team comes to me after a month. My mind is blown. Like, my mind is blown. I was like, absolutely, it is blown, because everyone there comes from an abundant mindset. We don't have a lack mindset. That's not allowed in our collaboration. You know, it's not. We want to give, we want to share, we want you to be successful. We love it. We want to mentor successful people, because we cannot bridge that wealth gap divided. We just can't do it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really beautiful statement, because I feel like sometimes people walk into real estate and it's a very much, when you're new, especially if you don't have people to connect with, the industry is very much set up like this lone wolf, competitive, like you have to step over the people below you or next to you in your company so that you can be successful. And I mean, we don't believe that. And obviously you not just don't believe it, but you've proven that that's BS, that that's not an approach that really is helpful. Like, we can all lift each other up together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the only way we can do it. We can't move a mountain by ourselves. It'll take forever to take a piece of the mountain away.
Exactly.
But if we get 500 people taking shovelfuls, we can make a dent. You know?
I love this. I love that.
I always love all of your, like, I was like, oh yeah, that's such a good line.
Wait, you said something so awesome last week. You said, why would I want to be a millionaire by myself? Right.
Absolutely. I truly believe that. LaShawn and I love to have events. We love to have parties. And you can't see the shirt, but the t-shirt says Millionaire Goals. Okay, yes. So when I have these millionaire parties, because I mean, you should see our parties now, we're not there yet. But when I have these millionaire parties and people are invited to these parties, I don't want you to bring me Dom Perignon. I really don't like the taste. I've had it. It's not that great.
It's overrated.
No. It's okay. I drink the Yak Cognac, 1738 Remy Martin. Everyone knows that. And so I need those type of friends who won't be embarrassed to come through the door with a fifth of 1738 in a brown paper bag, like, Tawana, here, what's up? I love you. That's what I want. I want those millionaires to come up. Or Tawana, when I was in France and I told them about you, and if you're listening, Remy, send me the best stuff. I'll let you know, baby.
Oh my God.
I went in France and I got this special bottle made. Those are the friends that I want to have. I want all of us to be rich together.
Yeah.
You know, when I go to their yacht, you don't have to explain, we're all the same. There's nothing that you have to put on airs about. Yeah. So that's a goal.
That's awesome. That is definitely an abundance mindset right there.
You, like, when we first chatted, you told this really beautiful story of this single mom and, like, one of your clients that you helped buy, and she has a son, and just like, and it's such a, like, different, because, like, where we are, like, we've had lots of conversations about, like, when you buy a house in an area with a school district that's struggling, you invest in that school district. And I've had a lot of friends who, like, it is a different situation if you, like, for other folks, and, like, specifically for Black folks. And I think the story that you had of your this client that you had was just so amazing. And I think other people really need to kind of hear it, but would you care to share?
Like, not at all. Not at all. So I had a young lady reach out to me. So I know in real estate, they say, well, you can't have a person reach out because you're white or you're a woman or you're tall or you're this or that. It happens. We know it happens. So she reached out because she noticed that LaShawn and I were lesbians. I mean, we put it out there and there's nothing to hide. People know we're married. You pull us up, you're going to see, that we are together. And she said, I called you, Tawana, because you're a lesbian, and my son just came out to me. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's get back to the house. How can I help you? And she said, well, he came out to me, and she said, he's tall. He's about 6'7". I was like, yeah, he's big. She was like, he's a big Black man. And he's just told me he's gay. And we're in a district right now that may be a problem. I was like, yeah. It's definitely going to be a problem. You get thick skin coming from the inner city schools.
Yeah.
Right? The plan of dozens, it can make or break you. where you talk about your mom and you and being gay and all of that. That can make or break. She didn't want that for her son.
Mm-hmm.
So her most important thing was we have to find him a good school district. I was like, check. My daughter was my heart. My daughter's my heart. And I made sure that she went to a good school district. When a school of choice came around, I was like, yes, I'm on it. Vote yes. They were like, how can you? You're not a Republican. I am today. I want school of choice because I want my daughter to have the choice to go to a better school district. So it was a total selfish, thing, but thank God I did. She graduated at the top of her class and went to the University of Notre Dame for free.
Yeah.
So that was a good choice. And I understood that from her. I said, got you. We're going to look for the best school district in Michigan. And, that's, of course, everyone's my school district best, my school district best. Okay, so let's find the best school district. She's like, also want safe. I said, yep, we can find safe. And I also want to be close to downtown. I'm like, now, wait a minute. But, okay, I got it. We're gonna get all of that. And then you come to, so how much you got? She was like, well, this is my budget, which let's say it was here. The area you're talking about is here, Okay, so I said, well, we're going to look around. And there's an island not too far from downtown Detroit. It's called Grosse Ile. It is voted, I believe it's the safest city in Michigan because it's an island. How you get it. It's only 2 ways on, and one of the ways is under construction. So we're waiting for the other bridge to open back up. So it's one bridge to get on. However, the housing value over there is definitely in $500,000 and higher. Right. She was definitely not there. So I was like, well, geez, I mean, there's Grosse Ile. And she was like, I've always wanted to live there. And I just kind of threw it out there, and she was like, I've always wanted to live there. I said, well, let's see what's there. And it was actually a couple of properties, maybe 1 or 2 that fit in her criteria and fit in her range. One was sold. I didn't even think they were that low on the island. So we went to the property, and I mean, she was like 10,000 shy of what this house was listed at. She was approved at. I called the agent and I say, hey, listen, I got a young lady, single mom. She really, really needs to be out here. Her son needs to be in a good school district. The agent tells me, oh my God, my client was a single mom, raised 3 boys out here. And the reason was because she wanted them in a safe district. Let's make this work for your client.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I love that.
We made it work. We made it work.
I know.
I wish we had more stories like that in Seattle.
I know.
Sadly, it's really hard.
I know.
But that's a great story. I do also want to go back to when we were talking about that you're really committed to building wealth in the community. You mentioned something that you guys do specifically that I've never heard of other agents doing. That I'd love you to talk. It was that you go into you go into churches and like.
Oh yes. So how we were able to sell as many homes as we did, and get the message out is you have to go to the community. How can you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach people who haven't historically known about buying a home. Where can I go to find those people? So my father's a pastor. And I said, well, LaShawn, I think we should go tell him at the church. She was like, we're gay. I was like, my dad's a pastor. I was in the church my whole life. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't even say anything. And she was a little apprehensive about it at first. Right. And I was like, no, it's going to work. Trust me. So my first home buying seminar, I was like, Daddy, everybody laughed because I still call my father Daddy. I do. I was like, Daddy, I need to come in. I want to tell people about buying houses. And he was like, you should. No one knows how to buy a house here. You should. Come on up. And so my father, he's the best girl dad in the world. Anybody want to compare notes? Let's go. My father's the best. Okay. And he's like, okay, I'll get you some people, baby. Let me know the date. What do you need us to do? Cook? We'll cook for you. I was like, no. Everything's taken care of, Dad. I just need a space. So he opened his church up on a Saturday and packed it out. Yeah. I was like, I'm looking. I'm like, Dad, what did you promise them? I ain't promised him it. I told him you gonna help him get a house. I was like, well, what did you promise him, Daddy? But no. So they're here, Tawana. You got to tell them. They said you said they can get some money. I was like, what? And at the time there was a program with Flagstar. That was Flagstar Bank is a community lender here in the Metro Detroit area. They had committed to giving $8 million to the city of Pontiac in home buyer grants.
Wow, that's crazy.
And no one knew how to get them.
Wow.
So I was, I got a representative from Flagstar. I said, will you come to meet with Pontiac? And her name was Darlene. Yes, girl, I'm on my way. I'm gonna bring some snacks. We're gonna do it. And we did that. And it was so many people that kept in contact with us. And it is not a journey where you do a home buying seminar and you're going to get a client today. No. We're talking, I did the home buying seminar in 2016, and I'm just closing on one of those clients today. Yeah. So it's a long journey.
Right.
It's a long journey. It's a community journey. It's a loving journey. And we do it every year. Last year we couldn't do it. We do it in Pontiac. My father will always say, he retired from being a pastor right now. But he has pastor friends. And they love it. They love the program. They always like, yes, Pastor, send your daughter because she knows where all the grants are. I'm like, well, I don't know where they all are, but I can get you a few. So we go down and we'll do one in Pontiac. And then LaShawn's first cousin is a pastor at Oasis in Detroit. He opens the doors for us. The area is not the best. It is an impoverished zone. He's a beacon of light in that area. And every time we have one, and we'll go on a Saturday, he opens it up for the community. The community comes in. It's been great success. We also go to a elementary school once a year. Yeah, we do elementary. You can't just start. You got to start at the beginning. Remember, generational.
Yeah, right. That's super smart.
Yeah. So we go to the elementary school and we talk about, it's a career day. So we talk about the career of being a real estate agent or a builder and an investor in real estate. And we talk to the kids, and we have to talk in a way, because the first time we did it, I was like, oh, great. So we're going to be doing, what classes, what age? She's like, kindergarten, 2nd, and 5th. I'm like, what? So we had to break it all the way down for the kindergartners to understand that, this is what you do. Go to school, graduate, go to college, boom, buy a house.
Yeah.
Very, very basic, because you have to hear it. You have to believe you can do it. And then you'll be able to do it when you get older.
I love it. We just have a couple more minutes, and then we're going to open. We have a couple of people who have asked us questions, which I'm super excited to get into, but we're going to do that a little bit later. But just in closing, in 2 minutes, what do you feel like, let's say, what do you feel like people who are, let's say they've read the right books, right, but they haven't really embraced diversity in their hearts, what do you feel like they should do right now to just go out there and, if you're really committed to seeing more Black people in this business, more Black people own homes, more Black people be represented in this industry, what do you feel like would be the best thing that folks can just take away from all this?
Put some Black people in your brokerages, put them on some boards. Representation matters. If I don't see a Black person in your office and I'm a Black person walking by, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to bypass that office. So you have to be very, very, I'm going to hire a Black person. Flat out, I got to find them. You can find them. How do you expect to get something if you don't put out what you want?
Right.
You want more representation. You want diversity in your area. You want to do these things. Say it. Admit that you have a problem in that. That's, what is it? AA, NA. Admit you have a problem, and then you work toward fixing that problem.
Right.
So we're with EXP. I love EXP. They did something very, very big during the George Floyd mass hysteria in the United States. Breonna Taylor, all of this is going on. Riots, everything is happening. EXP looked around and said, we need representation. So Pete Gentry is on the board of directors with EXP. Immediately, immediately. It wasn't, let's talk about it. Let's create a plan. We need representation. Let's make moves, you know, and they're like, oh, that's not fair. How is it not fair? It hasn't been fair for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right.
Yeah.
We got a lot of catching up to do, to be fair.
We got a lot. We got a lot of ground to cover before we even get to fair.
Right. Exactly. We haven't even leveled the playing field yet.
No.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Well,
that's amazing. That's great. And that's really, I think that's like perfect advice, because I know we see that over and over again, that there's a lot of conversation, but there's not a lot of action. So I love to hear that EXP is just like, we're just going to take action.
I just want to thank you so much for shining so much light into our lives and being such a beautiful, like, both you and your wife are just like fucking awesome. I'm sorry, I'm gonna swear. And I love you both. And then we are like how we're doing this now, folks don't know, but we're just we also wanted to say hi to our Genuine Hustle friends and hope you please follow this. Just give all the love.
Give Team Peterson-Jackson all the love, folks.
And then so anyways. Thanks
so much for agreeing to do this today.
Yay.
I love it. I love it.
And then for some of our folks who are live streaming it with us right now, they do have some questions.
We have a couple of questions, yeah.
And our friend George is like, hi, Team Diva, Team Peterson. And I can read the whole thing here. Do you think there's a role for real estate to advocate for homeless policy? If so, what do you think this might look like? Was one of the questions we had from George. And I do. I think, Senator Wynn, who was on our show a couple months ago, he was like, homelessness is a policy decision that someone has made. And typically, at least with us in Washington State, the Realtor Association has typically been behind a lot of those policy decisions by not wanting to fund services, not wanting to fund right now, one of the big fights that we're dealing with is just literally getting money so people aren't evicted from their apartments, which is the best way. But in Detroit, what do you feel? Where do you see people who are in real estate? Also, here's my personal attitude too: is you all need to be out there generating wealth. It is up to us white folks to deal with the policy decisions that have been enacted on people of color.
They're mostly made by white people, right?
So again, let us in the room. We do advocate. So I had a gentleman. We work with Keller Williams. I have the vice president of Keller Williams. His name is Jason Abrams. He had called and said, "Hey, Tawana, anytime you need anything, I would love to do it. I want to do something. Pontiac, Detroit, I want to do something." So we always have this people who call and want to do something. And we want to do something. So we're trying to, that LaShawn has just started this project. She always has great ones. We're working on building a subdivision in the area because Detroit had went through in the 80s and 90s. Crack cocaine destroyed a lot of our areas, lots of them. We have blocks and blocks of empty lots because they're tearing down those properties. We're not building. We're not building housing. We're not talking about having sustainable housing that's affordable. We're trying to we got container homes. We got a little tiny home community there. We're trying to get some new homes built in the area. As far as homelessness, when you're talking about homelessness, a lot of this is not, it's not like a real estate thing we can do, because poverty is a reason that there's homelessness. Lack of education opportunities is a reason someone gets locked into homelessness. Food, with so many different things that you have to tackle to actually help with that circle. And the only thing that realtors can do, in my opinion, is give money to the organizations that are those grassroots organizations. You have to, if you want to do something, give them a check. Send it.
Share the wealth, people.
Share the wealth.
Share the wealth. That's what we got to do.
Yeah. We, like Chavi says, we might not be fighting the revolution, but we're funding it.
Exactly.
Some of us who are older are just going to fund the revolution at this rate.
I can only protest so much before my feet get tired. I don't know.
We did one protest, and I went out there. I was like, "Oh, this is so exciting, girl! We got to get home. It's about to get dark."
It's insane.
You could have called me in my 20s.
Totally. And then we also have this is so amazing. I feel like Stephen Roberts is from the Midwest, or so he's like an amazing friend and client of ours, and he says he just wanted to say, as usual, I stopped through and learned so much.
Aww, thanks, Stephen.
And then he followed up. He's like, how can I have a conversation with others to address the importance of homeownership in the Black community? As a Black man, homeownership changed my life. And we have this beautiful story of how he bought his first home. It was during
a foreclosure
on a VA loan.
Yep.
And he says, as a Black man, homeownership changed my life, but I find people are so defensive on so many subjects like gentrification. Are there local resources I can point people to? And Stephen, obviously,
you could always contact
since you're here in Seattle, always point them towards us. But in Washington, so one of the great things that I don't think anyone's really talking about, but in the CARE Act, there is a $15,000 tax credit that was part of the CARE Act.
There's no information on how to access that yet. So it's still kind of early, but hopefully we'll get more information about that.
That's just part of so it's not the CARE Act. What is it called? The new one.
The stimulus.
The reason why Detroit grew for us and helped us to Biden is the reason why we now have some resources. So I mean, I think that
we think that's a long conversation. I'm sure you guys maybe you don't have the same conversations in Detroit that we do here, but there's lots of conversations about gentrification and homeownership. And my attitude is I think building wealth among, all people is important, and
primarily.
But I think specifically, we don't have as large an African American population here, but certainly the wealth gap here is equally as, huge. The gap is ridiculous, and because we had so much, I don't know a lot about Detroit, but I'm sure there was redlining that happened in Detroit just like it happened here.
It happened in the United States.
Yeah, right. It happened everywhere, right? But I don't know the specifics about Detroit. In Seattle, I can tell you exactly where the lines are because we live in those neighborhoods, right?
I'm sure if you really research it, because the book that if you guys really want to dig into that, pick up The Color of Law. The book opened my eyes to exactly how the United States was we're going to put the poor people here. And if they happen to be Black, so be it. Worse, no services. We're going to put everyone over here. We're going to move it. So we're going to build the highways this way so we can always keep them. For the next 60 or 70 years, we want African Americans not to own anything.
Right.
We have that. I have a home that my parents still live in, our childhood home. On that deed. And I know because I decided to flip the house directly across the street from them. It actually says, do not sell to color.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Don't sell it.
Yeah.
It's still on the deed,
Yeah. Crazy.
So, it's there. You just have to just decide that we're going to change it.
Yeah.
And then do the change. Don't just say it. Start doing some actions.
Yeah. And I think it's important, for someone like Stephen, I think it's really important to talk about what homeownership has done for you and your family and helped you to build wealth. And, I think that's just sharing a story.
Yeah.
I think is super important with your community and going to where the people are. Like you said, don't expect people to come to you.
Yeah.
You have
You got to go to where they are.
Right. And even if it makes you uncomfortable because you're a lesbian in a church, you still have to do that, right?
You gotta go. Because that's where our people are. If we know where Black people are on Sunday, church. So go there. Go there. LaShawn and I talk about home ownership. Probably 80% of our conversation is about home ownership with everyone. We start with people that have 400 credit scores and they have closed homes. They've done it. So if you can't tell me that, I can't do it because there is no because. It's going to be not now, when. So it's possible.
Yeah, there's two things. Our friend Lauren Gaucher in Portland, because that's a deeply, Oregon is had a no whites only rule, deeply segregated state. I grew up there. It is very, I grew up next to a town called White City, which is it's like the founding of the Ku Klux Klan in like the West Coast. And so even when everyone has this perception that I think the West Coast is like more liberal, they're just more secretive about their racism. But one of the things that Lauren Gaucher has done is like with her community is that they've created a down payment, basically just literally gifting homes and down payment to the Black people or Black folks in like Portland. And it's slowly rising. But we are like, on our team, we're like, if you have someone who is a first generation person who is buying a home that you're going to have to put in some extra time in, we basically reduce the amount of commission that Team Diva takes. Like, so we can encourage our team members to like, we call it like, be part of the community. I mean, like, do what you need to do to be part of the community. And and what we're looking at is like, what can we do like with all of us who are on the team to donate a portion of our collective proceeds and dedicate that just as outright as a gift for down payment, like no expectation
or closing costs, whatever we need to do to help.
Yeah.
Closing cost programs are wonderful.
Yeah.
Which is why we seek out lenders who specifically say we're doing community lending. We work with community lending banks. They know to send us an email. Like I said, Flagstar, when they first did their program, when I first became an agent, the young lady say, I'm a community lender with Flagstar. I was like, oh, okay, cool. She was like, you don't understand what that means. I can actually write grants for closing costs. And I sat there, tell me more. Nope, I don't want to hear all about that. How much can we get? She was like, well, last week, I got somebody $15,000. Let me go find you some people. And so when they send me that email, when they send our team that email, remember it's 45 agents on our 47 agents. We put it out on every channel that we know. Hey, this is the time. Flagstar has this. Supreme Lending has this. Bank of America's giving this. And we let people know that this is where you can get it. And we can help you get in contact with these type of lenders. As soon as they send us the information, Tawana, the programs from here to here, we sell those programs. We do home ownership through those programs. The lending community is like, work with the banks. They have the money. Tell them what you need. We would like home buyer grants. What can you do? They have it. We don't have it. They hold the purse strings. Ask for it. Not ask. Demand it.
Right, demand.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, I wish we had those here, but I don't think we have a lot of community lending on. Unfortunately,
you have small banks. You have small banks. Go in there and have a conversation with them.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad idea. We should go to Umpqua and talk to them.
I was thinking the same thing. They're always like
they're always community focused.
Yeah. I mean, because closing
costs. The government gives these banks money.
Money. Yeah.
Right.
It is our money.
It is.
Yeah, totally.
So it is definitely our lender partners do that. Yeah. They know it, and I'm like, if you can't give me something, I'm not going to send anybody to you. Because I'm a community agent. I'm here for help. I want to help people get into these homes. So
I love it. This is absolutely amazing. I learn so much every time I talk to you. And one day we're going to just have our own little mini, we'll just have our two teams come together.
Our team is ready. Our team is ready. These guys, like I said, are super. We have amazing people on the team. One of our teammates, Andrea Cook, was named #1 for real estate sales for February with EXP.
Yay!
I hate on these calls. I hate to throw out numbers because what's big in Detroit is not big in Seattle. Trust me.
No.
Our average sales price is not 800,000. It's not there.
It's harder to be big in Detroit than it is in Seattle. Okay, let's go. It's
you guys have to work.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes. So, and I don't know how much time I got, but did you see my story for this weekend?
You can keep going.
Keep going, girl.
Okay.
This is your time.
Did you see my closing that happened yesterday? I don't know. Did you watch my story Sunday?
No, I have not seen your story. No. Give us the goodies.
So let me give you this thing. We go for the final walkthrough in the Hazel Park, which is outside of Detroit City. Go for the final walkthrough on Friday. and we have a squatter in the house. Now, I don't know if everyone knows what that means. That means I broke your lock, I moved in, this is my house, right? So this young lady has been saving her entire life for her house. My client, Hispanic single mom, she's like, look, I need to buy a house, Tawana. I don't have a lot of money. We had to go to a community lender and make sure she gets as many grants as possible. She ready to go. She got the state of Michigan gave her a grant for closing costs. We're ready.
Yeah.
You get there and the squatter said, oh, I have a lease. I'm like, you don't have a lease on this, baby. Not this house. So they pulled out some fake lease. We called the police and the police like, oh my God, we don't have squatter laws here. I said, I know all the laws of squatters. I know what's going on. So I called I'm the buyer's agent. Called the listing agent. I'm like, hey, you got a squatter here. Oh my God, in this house? Yes, in this house, in this neighborhood, you do have one. So she called the owner. The owner is an older white gentleman. You got squatters there. Oh, I'll call Orchid. We'll get them out. And it's like, Orchid? He didn't even know what a squatter was. He thought it was a rodent problem.
Oh my God. I was like, you have a human problem. You have a human squatter, not a bug squatter.
Nothing. He's there. The listing agent, she's a white woman. She's there. It's me, black lady. My client, Hispanic. Her sons are there, right? And the squatters are an African-American couple.
Oh, wow.
So these two white guys, we all go to the house. I'm like, look, I'm not leaving. This is my client's house. She's like, I need, Tawana, hey, the money is coming. It's my house. I'm ready. I gotta, and she had to get out of her house.
Oh, wow.
Because we're in the seller's market and the landlords are selling their properties here in Detroit. So if you sell it, you gotta go. So her house is sold. Her new people are getting ready to take ownership. She has to be out.
But you haven't closed yet. Like you weren't. You weren't closed on the house yet.
Closing was Monday. This was Friday.
Okay,
we were doing our walkthrough.
Okay, good.
So we get in the house. My client, the owner, they're all out. So the police officer calls in. Me as representing the buyer, the other listing agent, she comes in. So we're standing there. And the black guy went hysterical. I'm not leaving. He's yelling and he looks directly at me and start yelling. He was like, you trying to put me out? I need till Tuesday. I'm like, we can't do that. You got to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When I got scammed, I'm like, I'm sorry. You got to go. Oh, sister. I was like, okay, so I'm the only black one here. Okay. I'm like, dude, I still have to represent my client. You got to go. And so the police, they turn to me. The listing agent turns to me. Everyone turns to me. So what do we do?
You're like, it's not your... Yep. You're like, my job is to...
Right. Leave it to the black woman to fix your problem.
So as I said on my story, just like the United States learned with this last election, the black woman always know what's going on and fixes the problem. So I told the guy, I'll be back Sunday. I'm going to help you move everything out. Sunday, I bring my pickup truck over and knock on the door. It's time to go. I got to close tomorrow. It's time to go. I can't pick anything up. Oh, you can't? Hold on. One thing, LaShawn comes from a very large family, very supportive. She has wonderful brothers.
They all showed up.
Oh, I need you here. All right, I'm on my way. 10 minutes. Pulls up, loads up the truck. We get everything out. The police officer, like, we probably should have evicted them. And I was like, you said they had to go.
Yeah.
So they're gone. So my listing agent, because I love white women. You know why? You guys love to throw money at situations. Oh my God, Tawana, I'm going to get them a hotel. You get them a hotel, girl. We dropping this stuff off on the corner.
I am dying. So true.
That was my weekend. It all worked out. We got it done. She found her friend owned a hotel because you guys have those type of circles. So she was able to put them in a hotel for a couple of days. My only concern was get the stuff out the house so my client can close and move in. Everything worked out smooth.
Oh my God, that's crazy story. So did they legit
$30,000 house, ladies? You do the math.
Oh my God. Did these poor folks legit think they had a lease? Or were they really just squatting?
So they had a lease that they printed off.
Oh, right.
Okay. Right. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They were legit
people do that here. Like, people will list houses on Craigslist that have been sold but are vacant and convince people to give them money.
And just move in.
That is big here.
Oh, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's crazy. Awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, we tell people you must always have a realtor friend, someone that you can call up and say, who owns this house? It takes us like 5 minutes to find an owner.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time who are calling about rentals. I'm like, don't believe everything you see on Craigslist because you never.
Never.
It's a nightmare, right?
Awesome. Well, anyways, thank you so much for doing this.
What a great story to end with. That was
I was like,
I thought we always have something for you.
Real estate war stories, they're the best. They are absolutely the best.
I feel bad that I'm a white lady who doesn't know anyone who owns a hotel, because that would be pretty. I need to maybe find someone on my list, right, that owns a hotel.
But writing a check.
That's what they tell us. Check your sphere.
Exactly. But the writing the check, that feels really close to home.
That feels close to home, yeah. I admit it.
I was like, I've written some checks.
To
take care of issues.
Right.
Oh my God. I love it all. Perfect. Well, anywho, thank you so much. We're gonna be putting this on YouTube, and this will be on Facebook. Go ahead and we'll also send you the files. So if you have your own, do what you want to do with this. I love it all.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, perfect. All right. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm so fabulous chatting with you.
Awesome.